Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if it's the first time you are visiting. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Hayley and I review fragrances. So in today's video, I am going to be talking all about the newest fragrances in my collection. Now I did just film this video a couple of weeks ago, and in that video I mentioned that I have a lot more fragrances to showcase. So this, I guess, is a part 2 of that video. A lot of these fragrances are new releases, not all of them, and I'm excited to give you my thoughts on these fragrances. So I guess without further ado, let's jump into the video. First up, we have Angel Dust by Fugazzi. Now, this is my first experience with the brand. I've never tried anything from them, and Twisted Lily is now a stock list of Fugazzi. They reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to try something from the brand. I was super excited. Of course, I said yes. And Angel Dust is a kind of fresh, cottony, almost skin scent, musky, ambery fragrance. I say skin scent, but it's not skin scent in terms of it doesn't project and you can't smell it. It's just that kind of feeling of your skin, but better. The musk in here is beautifully done. It's got a slight sweetness to it. I do get the bergamot, and then you get this really nice, almost transparent amber in the base. This is exactly the type of scent profile I love. If you are a regular viewer of my channel, you will know I absolutely adore musk fragrances. So this is a good first experience with the brand. If you have tried Fugazzi, please do let me know what is your favorite fragrance from the brand, because I want to order some samples and really get to know the brand a little bit more. But Angel Dust, I think you're going to see this featured in a lot more of my videos, because on first impressions, I'm really enjoying this fresh, your skin but better, musky, kind of fresh linen vibes with some amber in the base to ground it. This one I do get 6 to 7 hours wear out of. I can still smell it after that, but it is definitely more of a get right up and close to your skin. So yeah, good first experience with Fugazzi. Thank you so much to Twisted Lily for sending me Angel Dust. As I've already mentioned, Twisted Lily is now a stock list of Fugazzi. So this was the first fragrance that I wanted to go over today. Next up is the newest release from Commodity, and it is called Juice. I believe this is the first fragrance they have released in 3 years, and I was really excited to receive this in the mail. This is the expressive version, which sits in the middle in terms of strength. They also sent the travel sizes of the personal one and also the bold version. Now, my personal favorite out of the 3 is actually the bold version, but I thought I would highlight this version just because this is the one I have the full-size bottle of, and I will briefly explain the differences between the 3 of them. So, Juice, as the name suggests, is a juicy, fruity fragrance that to me smells like a strawberry fruit juice with lots of musk in here. This is a lot muskier than I was expecting, to be quite honest. It's still very juicy, and I get a blast of mixed red fruits. Strawberry is the note that comes to mind first, but I definitely get raspberry, maybe some dark berries in here too. I get so much musk in here. It's really, really nice. Not necessarily what I was expecting. I thought this was going to be a little bit more fruity, but in a way, this is a lot more wearable. It reminds me a little bit of Burberry Her, not completely. This isn't as overwhelmingly sweet, and I feel like Burberry Her has an almost overly synthetic vibe about it, whereas this one doesn't. But to me, I mostly get red fruits and musk. Now, the bold version has this really prominent violet leaf note, which kind of amps up the fruitiness and makes it even a little bit sweeter, even though you'd think the violet note would tamper it down. So my personal favorite is the bold version. I do need to play around with the 3 of them a little bit more, but in terms of preference, I would say bold is my favorite, then expressive, and then the personal one. But I will update you on my thoughts once I've played around with them a little bit more, because it's still very new to my collection. But what I get from it, as I've already mentioned, is a mixture of red fruits and maybe some dark fruits, mostly strawberry, and lots of musk. It's as simple as that to me. I don't mean it's a simple fragrance, but those are the notes that stand out to me. So let me know if this is a new release that you are interested in. Next up is the newest release from Alexandre J, and this one is called Butterfly. Now, I don't have the full-size bottle, but I do have this decanted. I think this is a 30 ml size of it. I was invited to a really cool event for the launch of this fragrance, but unfortunately I couldn't attend. So they sent me over this decant to experience, and I was super excited because there are two fragrances that I absolutely adore from Alexandre J, Oriental Enigma and Imperial Peacock. Now, this is a very luxurious fragrance. It comes with a luxury price tag too. But when I saw the notes of Butterfly, I knew I wanted to try this one. So I have the notes on my phone. I'm going to read some of them out. So you'll probably understand why I wanted to try this one. It has pink pepper, pear, cardamom, hazelnut, neroli, musk, milk, vanilla, amber, and tuberose. Now, I love a milky lactonic fragrance. I was a little bit wary of the tuberose, but it's done quite softly, almost in a similar realm to Blanche Bête by Liquids Imaginaires. This is musky, it's fresh, it's a little bit milky. You definitely get the florals in here. It has that slightly nutty quality. I really enjoy this. It is beautiful. Will I pick up a full-size bottle of it? I'm not sure at this stage, but on first impressions, it's really nice. To me, it's a very similar profile to Blanche Bête. So if any of you like Blanche Bête, you will probably love this. And I don't know, I can't deny the full-size bottles of these are so beautiful and worth having in your collection, but it is a higher price point just for reference. But I need to play with this one a little bit more. The more I'm smelling it from the lid, it is very similar to Blanche Bête, but what I will say is this is even more milky. Definitely more milky, and it almost has this really fluffy, marshmallowy vibe to it as well. I think this one has settled a little bit since I have last smelt it. I think I'm going to wear this one today and gather some more thoughts about it. But let me know if this fragrance stands out to you and if you are going to be sampling it. Next up is Vanilla Azure by Sphinx. And I am super excited about this fragrance because this is such an incredible vanilla scent that's quite complex. Think Angel Share by Kilian, but make it vanilla and make it a little bit more lactonic and fluffy. It has the kind of spicy, ambery feel about it with the dates. This does have dates in the note breakdown. It's also got lots of vanilla, which I love about it. There's toffee. It's fluffy, marshmallowy, vanillic, a little bit spicy. It's quite a complex vanilla, yet at the same time wearable. It's not overly ambery. It's not heavy like Angel Share, but it has that kind of backbone. And if any of you have tried Camera by Lattafa, specifically the newer version with the dates, this has a similar vibe, but more lactonic and vanillic. This one is new to my collection too, but it really stood out to me. I can't wait to review this one in more detail. This is definitely now my favorite fragrance from Sphinx. And if you can get a sample of Vanilla Azure, I would highly recommend it if you love your vanilla fragrances. Next up is a new release from Electimuss. This is a Javoy exclusive. It was sent over to me from Javoy and it has my initials engraved on the front. I don't know if you can see it. You can see it a little bit. And I really love Electimuss as a brand. When I smelt this fragrance, this was not what I was expecting based off the notes. I thought the notes sounded great, but I didn't know if it was going to be a love for me until I sampled this one. And wow, this has shot up to my top 2 Electimuss fragrances. I think my favorite is still Mercurial Cashmere, but Spice di Arno is so incredible. It's spicy, it's fluffy. You get lots of tonka bean. There's a little bit of leather. I'm getting cardamom. My husband thinks this smells a little bit like Bakewell tart mixed with saffron. And I know where he's coming from with that description because I do get that kind of Bakewell tart, almondy amaretto feel from it, even though the notes wouldn't suggest that. Oh, this is incredible. You get lots of tonka bean. There's some leather in here. The leather's quite subtle. It's definitely spicy and rich. I get pink pepper. There's some vanilla in the base. There's a little bit of oud, but it's not super strong on the oud. This is new to my collection. I feel like I need to let it sit for a little bit before I give an in-depth review of it. But on first impressions, I am really impressed with this new launch. I think the Electimuss bottles are incredible. And Javoy sell samples, so if they are sampling this particular fragrance, I will link it down below. But I think this is such a great new launch. Keep an open mind, because to me, I do experience this a little bit differently to the notes. It's a lot sweeter than the notes would suggest. I do get the vanilla, I get a tonka bean vibe, I do get that kind of almondy vibe as well, yet I get all of the spices too. Absolutely incredible. And yeah, we'll see what I think about this when I play with it a little bit longer, but on first impressions, it's a good one. Next up is the newest release from Memo, Paris. Now, reading the notes of this, I knew I was probably going to really enjoy this. It, on first impressions, is a really beautiful mixture of a dark vanilla and oud. Those are the notes that I get the most, and then some cardamom also. I would say this is more of a nighttime fragrance, but it is incredibly beautiful. There's definitely a spiciness in here too. I believe this is a Harvey Nichols exclusive in the UK. You can purchase this directly on Memo Paris's website too. You definitely get lots of spice in the opening. As I've mentioned, you do get the cardamom. There's definitely a peppery vibe as well, black pepper specifically. There's cinnamon. I'm getting that dark, rich vanilla. It's not overly sweet at all, which is why I think it's either more of a nighttime fragrance or an autumn winter type of fragrance. Totally unisex. I feel like this one is going to be a big hit for Memo. It's very likable, quite mass appealing. I don't necessarily get a prominent oud, but I get this rich, woody vibe. There's some incense in here too. Again, this is new to my collection. I haven't been able to wear this out of the house yet, so I will update you on my thoughts. But if you do want an in-depth review of this one, please do let me know. This video is more first impressions and to show you what's new in my collection, but this one has been a hit with me thus far. Next up is Pear Gelato. I was so excited to try this fragrance. I think Theodoros Kalotinis does gourmand fragrances so well, and at a more affordable price point too. You can pick up these fragrances for under £50, which is great. Now, Pear Gelato smells, I guess, exactly as the name would suggest. It's very pear forward. And it smells like gelato, or I would say it smells a little bit more like sorbet to me. It's very, very delicious. I find this one a little bit too sweet for my personal liking, but I think this is really, really enjoyable. I might actually layer this one with some other fragrances. I have tried it layered with Creme Brulee by Theodoros Kalotinis too. And that layering combination is a chef's kiss. It is so good. But I want to try some other layering combinations with this just because I find it a little bit too sweet for me. But that being said, you get what you should expect based on the name. If you want something sweet, if you like the idea of a pear sorbet, you should definitely check this one out. But it is just a tad bit too sweet for me to wear on its own personally, but I do really enjoy the scent profile. Next up is Elysium by Roja. How incredible is this bottle? This might be one of my favorite Roja bottles ever. I am super excited to have this one in my collection. Now, what does this one smell like? This is Elysium pour Femme, if you probably couldn't tell by the bottle. To me, this smells like the most luxurious shampoo that I've ever smelt. And I know you're probably thinking, Roja's a luxury brand. Why do I want to spend that much money on a luxurious shampoo? Well, let me tell you, it's just so likable. This is really nostalgic to me. It reminds me of fragrances that I used to wear, such as Escada. It's giving me Escada vibes, which again, you're probably thinking, Hayley, Escada, Roja, they shouldn't be in the same realm. But I think there is a space for this within the collection because there are going to be people that want a different type of scent profile. This is very fun, it's very energetic, and I've just really enjoyed wearing this. I've worn it twice thus far, and it's just a really likable, fruity floral. My husband thinks this is really nice whenever I've worn it too. It's expensive. Do you want to spend that much to smell like, in essence, what a luxury shampoo smells like? That's just my opinion. You might not get that at all. I think it just depends. Wear what you want, spend however much you want on fragrances. I really enjoy this. Price aside and subjectively, I think this is a fun, likable fragrance. So I think this is a good new release, and there is a gap for a fragrance profile like this within their collection, but it is very different from the usual Roja styling. Last but not least, I finally have Levant by Ormonde Jayne in my collection. Now, if you watch my channel, you will know that I absolutely adore Ex Nihilo's Fleur Narcotique. It was actually my wedding day scent, and I always get asked, what do you prefer, Fleur Narcotique or Levant? I guess it should be obvious based on what I picked for my wedding day scent. However, I didn't own Levant at that point. Now, the reason why I'm comparing the two is because they are often heavily compared online. They have a very similar type of scent profile. A lot of people say Levant has better longevity than Fleur Narcotique. I am luckily one of those people that don't struggle with the longevity of Fleur Narcotique. I don't know what it is, but I don't struggle with it. And they are very, very similar. This is such a beautiful fragrance. So based on them being very similar, I absolutely adore this one. It is the most gorgeous floral fragrance. I think peony is the note I get the most. It's sweet, it's uplifting, perfect for a wedding day scent. Make a great signature scent too. I will review this one in more detail soon. I have sampled it many times over the years, but now I have the full-size bottle, so I will give you an updated review. If you want me to compare both of them side by side, please do let me know, because that could make a good video. But yeah, happy to have this one in my collection. Such a beautiful fragrance. So those were all of the fragrances that I wanted to showcase in today's video. I know it was a lot, and I know they weren't in-depth reviews. I actually have some more new fragrances to showcase, but I didn't want to include more than this in the video, so I will save them for a future video to come. But I hope you enjoyed this. Please do let me know what are your newest fragrances in your collection. I would love to hear in the comments down below. And I would also love to know if you want in-depth reviews on any of these fragrances in particular. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure as always. I hope to see you in a future video to come. Thank you so much, and goodbye.